My name is Artem. I am 37 years old. I used to be what is commonly called a collected person. Systematic, reliable, without illusions. Without creativity, I did not take risks. I saved. I did not believe in easy money. I did not get involved in adventures. But now I know, you can burn out, and not because of stupidity. You can, from fatigue, living through force. I started working early. At 20, the courier. At 22, a logistician. At 25, I launched my first online store. Nothing flashy. Spare parts, components, things that are bought not out of love, but out of necessity. I did not like my job, but it brought stability. And stability seemed like love to me. I worked as if for survival, as if someone was driving me. Although no one was driving, there was just a whip inside that said, not enough, further, faster. Every year I earned more, but nothing changed. I didn't allow myself to stop. If money appeared, I invested it. In advertising, in a new warehouse, in a website. I bought myself nice things, but I didn't wear them. I bought food, and ate it right over the keyboard. I planned everything, expenses, goals, steps. But I didn't plan my life. My wife got tired before me. She said that she lived next to a shadow, that I was at home, but not here. I answered, I'm building our future. One day she simply packed her things. She didn't fight, she didn't yell, she just left. I didn't stop her. I didn't even immediately understand what was happening. It felt like someone had pulled a wire out of the wall, and only silence remained. After that, I started working even more. Now I had no time for family, no time for rest. I started saving not for a dream, but for meaning. Money became my meaning. They replaced everything: love, respect, the right to rest. I didn't spend them, I just looked at them as numbers that should grow. When they grew, I decided to invest big. I opened a second outlet. I filled in the ads. I bought a large batch of goods. I hired more employees. I took out loans to speed up growth. The first couple of months seemed like a victory. Then, cracks began. One of the suppliers missed the deadline. A new competitor appeared. One review on the internet, and sales dropped sharply. I tried to control everything, but my body was already failing. I hadn't slept normally for weeks. Chest pains and dizziness began. Then, panic attacks, but I considered it weakness. I drank coffee and continued until one day I realized that I couldn't hear anything. I was sitting at a planning meeting, listening to an employee. He was telling something, showing graphs. And I looked at him, and did not understand where I was. As if the sound stopped reaching, everything around was like an aquarium. Then, a black dot in my eyes, and I just left without explaining. When I returned to the office, I saw a notification, account balance, $0.00. It was final, not because everything collapsed, but because I had been empty inside for a long time. I was not angry, I did not cry. I just sat in the dark, on the cold floor of my own office, and realized. All these years I had been burying myself under the guise of success. Money was not a tool, it was my prison, and I voluntarily built this prison for years. I sold the business almost for nothing, repaid the debts, moved to a small village near Ryazan, where I had an old grandfather's house. At first I did nothing. I lay, stared at the ceiling. Sometimes I went outside, just sat on the porch. I didn't expect it to get better. I just couldn't do anything else. A month later, I started waking up with a different feeling. Not anxiety, not panic, but something like, I'm alive. The cold air in the window, the smell of the earth, the birds. I hadn't noticed all this before, and for the first time in many years, I felt myself in the moment. One day, I found old children's drawings. I drew as a child. I forgot about it, completely. I found a box of pencils. I started drawing on paper, lines, shapes, colors. Without a goal, without an idea. Just to feel, I can do something not for profit. Then I started walking. I started going to the library, reading, not articles on marketing, but novels, poetry. It was as if every word was entering me for the first time. I didn't become a different person, but I became alive. Now I work in a creative center, as a night watchman. The salary is small, but it's enough for me. Sometimes I help children who come to draw. I bring tea, make shelves. Sometimes I sit by the window, watch the light fall on the floor, and I think, what happiness, just to be. Not to improve yourself, not to chase, but just to breathe. I don't make plans for 5 years anymore. I don't dream of millions. I dream of wanting to get up in the morning. To be calm in the evening, to have real people around. And in the heart, silence, not anxiety. If you are reading this, and everything is falling apart for you, if you have lost money, hope, or yourself, please, do not rush to bury yourself. This is not the end. This is just a pause, where you finally remained with yourself. And from this pause you can begin, slowly, awkwardly, but, for real.